Hi, this is Dave Lorenzo with RainmakerLawyer.com, and today I'm going to describe for you the Valtimax Client Orientation System. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Valtimax, I've never heard of that before, and it makes perfect sense that you've never heard of it before because we're introducing it today for the first time. The word Valtimax is a word that we made up which describes how this process can vault your law practice to its maximum potential, catapult it to its maximum potential, and there are 6 really easy to follow steps in the Valtimax Client Orientation System, which I'm going to describe to you right now. Step number 1 is the client calls in and they speak with an office manager to make an appointment to see you. Now, it doesn't matter what your practice area is, everyone should speak to the office manager first. You, as the attorney, should never answer the phone directly. The client always has to speak to the office manager. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have an office manager. I have an assistant, a secretary, a paralegal. Well, you should change their title, essentially, to office manager because the client wants to speak with someone who has some stature in the firm first. So the client speaks with the office manager first, and the office manager qualifies them. The office manager looks to see that the client has the money to be able to afford your services, a problem that you can solve, and they look to gauge whether or not the client is willing to make a decision right away. These are the 3 things the office manager is looking to find out about the client before they set an appointment. And that's step 2. Step 2 is the office manager gets their information and schedules a consultation with you. Now, I'm a huge advocate of all consultations being paid consultations. I don't believe in free consultations. Here's why. A free consultation will be accepted by just about everyone, and in a lot of cases, people will not show up for them, or they'll use whatever information you give them and go to another lawyer. I want you to offer paid consultations, and yes, believe it or not, we even do this with personal injury lawyers, people who get paid on contingency. What we do is we structure the paid consultation to be nominal for people who get paid on contingency and more substantial for people who are going to bill larger sums later. And we do that because we want to show people that we're serious about doing business. They definitely will make the appointment. They'll take the meeting seriously if they pay. So step number 2 in the Valtimax process is schedule a paid consultation. Step number 3 is that the client is sent an introductory kit. This kit is sent out the same day the consultation is scheduled. So if you usually make your appointments one day for the next day, like immediately after the next day, you got to get that client orientation kit over to them by messenger because it's really, really important that the client orientation or information kit gets to them before they have the consultation with you. You send it out. What's included in there is press clippings about you, any books or papers that you've written that are on point for the client's issue, any newsletters that you've written, like the last 6 months of newsletters, it's always a good idea to put it in there, and any letters of endorsement or references or testimonials. Remember, the client has requested a meeting with you. They've requested information, so under the bar rules of just about every state, you can provide them with information now because it's information on request. So send them all the testimonials that you have. Step number 4 is the application for representation. The client comes in, they have the paid consultation. You then have them fill out, before they meet with you, an application for representation. This is not an intake form. This is an application for representation. Make sure there are questions on there that lead them to believe that you're going to be evaluating whether or not you should take this case, because, in fact, you are going to be doing that. They fill out the application for representation, excuse me, and then they're brought into your office for an in-person interview. You interview them about the case, you interview them to discern what kind of character they have, and you decide whether you want to represent them or not. Pardon me. Once you decide if you want to represent them or not, that's when you have the investment discussion. Now, there are 2 ways to conduct the investment discussion. The first way is for you to decide whether you want to represent them or not. Ask them to sit in the conference room while you go, evaluate the situation and determine how you can best represent them. And then to have your business manager come in and explain to them the terms under which you're going to do business. The second way to do it is for you to come back in and say that you'd like to represent them and for you to explain the terms. In either case is perfectly fine. I prefer having the discussion removed from the attorney themselves. So what I prefer the attorney to say is, this seems like a case that where we could do some good work together, and I could give you the best opportunity to get a favorable outcome. What I'd like to do is call my office manager in to have her talk to you about the investment required. Then you bring the office manager in, the office manager discusses the investment, and you're removed from the conversation that has to do with money. Most attorneys don't do this. That's the way I prefer it to be done, because the attorney then does not ever have to worry about having a conversation about money with the client. If you're an attorney and you have that conversation, that's fine. Simply state what the investment will be, and then basically that's what the conversation is. I don't advocate negotiation. You should have enough clients coming in your door where you don't negotiate your fee ever. So that's the 6-step Valtimax process. Step number 1, client speaks with the office manager and is qualified, makes an appointment. Step number 2, the paid consultation appointment is set. Before the paid consultation takes place, step number 3, the introductory kit, the orientation kit, is sent out and they receive it. Step number 4, the client fills out an application for representation. Step number 5, there's an interview. Step number 6 is the investment discussion. This is the Valtimax client orientation process. I hope you take it and use it in your practice immediately. It'll have a huge difference on the amount that you can charge, on the clients, whether they decide to do business with you or not, and whether you successfully represent them. My name is Dave Lorenzo, and for more great law firm marketing tips just like these, you can find me at rainmakerlawyer.com. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.